today? Well, today in front of me I have the distillate from our Seven Roots Bourbon. And we do have some choices on different way we can age your bourbon, your whiskey, your spirits, okay? So we're gonna go over some of them choices. I thought that'd be pretty interesting. Okay, but first things first, welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, like I've already said, I have my distillate here from my Seven Roots Bourbon, and I did let it air out for 24 hours, which is just a matter of paper towels over top of the jars, just to let some of the it seems to me it makes a more mellow flavor, it makes it more delicious, and I've been doing that for a lot of them now, and it's working out pretty good for me. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so one thing I wanted to start off with is cuts. All right. As stuff comes off the still, the first thing that's going to come off is your forward shots in the heads. And I consider them the same thing. And my rule of thumb is one, if you're doing a grain, something, is 1 ounce per gallon in the still. So if you got 6 gallons of still of distillate or wash or mash in your still, you're going to take 1 ounce per gallon. So in this case, I had 6 gallons of a mash, so I took off 6 ounces. All right. Now, if you're doing a fruit mash, I like to go 1.5 ounces per gallon. All right, and then that just gets you to the starting point. That's when you really, I know I'm gonna collect that much off. Once I get to that much, I'm smelling and I'm tasting and to the point I said, okay, I know that I'm right there. The next thing coming off is the good stuff. All right. And then at the very end, I am checking right out of the spout of the still with a hydrometer. And when I get to 40 ABV, 80 proof, 40 ABV, I know I'm done. So I'm going to stop collecting there. Now, I might turn up the still and collect off some tails, because, hey, there's good alcohol in them tails, and I might save them for, I put them in my feints jar, and I might add them to something else that I'm making later on, just to boost up the volume, okay? So, that is what I consider my cuts. It's been working very well for me, and this is all good. I will double check the taste of it though. And I usually start off 2 small jars in the beginning. And why do I do that? Well, I collect that off is because in case I messed up, I don't mess up too much. And then it just gives me a little safety factor, and the same thing down here. I'll collect it off. Now that is perfectly clear overnight, and it's been a little chilly, so that will tell the tale. All right. So what's next? Proofing down. All right, let's get ready to do that. Proofing down. Now, proofing is something that is where a lot of people are all over the place. Don't add water. Add water to your spirit or your alcohol, not alcohol to your water. Water or alcohol to the water, not to the spirit. Back. I having a problem. I usually. Right or wrong, I'm going to tell you how I do it, okay? I'm going to taste every one of my cuts, and then I approve all my cuts, and then I'm going to mix it all together. And then I will add water to that blend. And usually I will, let's see, how do I want to put this? The proof of what I want when I mix it. If I'm going into a barrel type, I might leave it at a higher proof. Yeah, usually 110, 120 for me. And then, but if I'm going to add wood to the spirits, like chips or blocks or cubes or whatever, I will cut it down to my drinking temperature of what I want to prove. It could be 80, sometimes I like 90, right? And that's strictly up to what I want to do. All right, so let's get ready. We're going to blend all this together and we're going to move on. Okay, so let's get all these lids off. I love that smell. To me, this is one of the fun parts of the job. It's like you're a mad scientist or something. Okay. So I got all them lids off. Let me get them out of my way. All right. So I want to taste my cuts. Now, the best thing to do is start here somewhere in the middle, work your way each way. So let's start right here. But I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that I like all these. Oh, that is good. Getting hotter though. Woo! Definitely getting hotter. Should went the other way first. But I'm sure I'm gonna. Okay. Tastes great. I'm gonna mix it all together. I'll probably have to use two mixing jars. Most likely. I think I am. Get some of these out of the way. All right, that's all I'm going to just add to my mixing jars. Where am I stepping on? Somebody said I'm getting better at pouring. I think I am. Okay, so let's see where we're at. Well, it's still off the charts. The refractometer only reads to 80%. It's off the charts on that. So, I do know I'm going to have to mix some water with it. Now, I know a lot of people say I should use a dilution calculator and all that stuff, but I don't. I play it by ear. I know I'm going to put 2 waters in there at least. And this looks white because of the air bubbles the air I just introduced to it. But those air bubbles will come out and it will go back to crystal clear. See how it's getting crystal clear. All right, so let's check it again, see where we're at. That brought it down to, I don't know, like 65%. That's still a little bit hot for me, because what I am going to do is I'm going to use oak chips So I want it down just a little bit less than that. I want to bring it down to somewhere between 80. A little above 80. 80 or a little above. All right, so let's mix this up. All right. Let's see where we're at now. We are at 52%, so that's 100 and like 104. What should I do? Should I leave it a little bit hot? Let me go with a half a bottle of water. I just want it down just a little bit more. I'll do half a bottle. All right, now let's see where we're at. Ooh, it didn't drop very much. Let me try that again. That's going to do it. A little hot. It's going to have to stay a little hot. All right, I'm going to equal these jars out. That's pretty close. Okay, let's see what our number is going to be. And the final number is going to be 45. I'm going to leave it right there. 45%. All right. Okay. All right. So now we are proof down. All right. That is one of the fun parts of the job. Clean up my mess a little bit. I didn't spill too awful much. Okay, so we're getting ready to start the next. Let me put some lids on these before I knock them over. I would do something like that, stupid like that. Okay, now the next question is, in this aging process, is what types of woods do we use? Well, I mean, there's many types you can use, but the three main that a lot of people use, and we're going to start off with American white oak. It is the most common, and it has an intense oak flavor to it, and it's really high in the vanilla and a lot of caramel flavoring into it. All right, that's what I use 99.9% of the time. It is just great. Okay, the next thing a lot of people use is French oak. French oak, it's got a softer oak flavor, and it got hints of allspice and cinnamon in it. You know, just a slight hints of that. So a lot of people like that. And the other choice that I came up with was Hungarian oak. It has a very pronounced oak flavor with hints of black pepper, coffee, vanilla, and bittersweet chocolate. So you got choices of oaks. You could either use one, or you could actually do, a mixture of all three, depending on how you're using it. Okay, so that's the different kind of woods we're going to use in the aging process of spirit. So we talked about what kind of wood we wanted. Now we need to talk about, let's say, vessels of what we want to do. Now, as distillers, of course, number one guy on the block is the big 53-gallon barrel. You know, that has to be one of the best. But for us home distillers, most of us, now there's a few of you guys out there can, but I can't, and most of us can't produce enough to fill that big barrel. Hey, they got great flavors. They're 53 gallons, and it takes 3 to 5 years to age your whiskey, okay? So let's go down to their next choice. These are all kind of like in the barrel realm, I guess you would call it. Hey, a few years ago, the bed motivator barrel come out on the market. Fantastic, it works great. It mimics the big barrel. So this is like 1.8 gallons. I hope I'm close to that. It takes 1 plus, I mean, you can leave it in there as long as you want. 1 plus years to age in. It's got great flavor in it. And like I said, it mimics the big barrel a lot. Okay, so that is a great choice. I really enjoy that. Okay, the next is the mini barrel. All right, the mini barrel, it works very, very well. You can get them anywhere from the 1 to the 5 gallon range. 1 plus years to age in. Sometimes you can go a little less because there's a lot more surface area per liter or of liquid in there, so it ages a little bit quicker, right? But I have found, don't leave these in too hot of an environment, because you'll really give the angels their share. Okay, so that is the barrel options. All right, so now I'm gonna come to, and these are great options, great options, especially this one. Anyway, so we got some more options coming. Here's the rest of our options. Of course, you got blocks or stays. These are blocks. They've been number 2 toast, and they also been charred on 2 sides. They work very well. They're usually about 6 inches by, I don't know, an inch square. It can take 3 to 12 months in the liquid. All right, so I usually use 1 per quart. So in this particular here, I mean, it's 3 quarts. I might use 2. Maybe 3, but 2 might do it. So that's one option. The next option is cubes. These are like 1/2 inch oak cubes, and they're number 2 toast on that. Usually it's about 8 per quart. And then that's just the starting point, and you could put more or less, it's up to your choice. And you're looking 3 to 6, dropped one. 3 to 6 months with them, or until you feel they're done, that is definitely a good choice. And then one choice, and I use this particularly a lot, is they are toasted chips, just because they're real easy. I usually go with, and they're medium, number 2 toast on them, no char. You could char the cubes, but anyway, I usually go with a half to 1 ounce per quart with the chips. And usually it takes 1 to 4 months, depending on what you know, and it all depends on you. They work very well, and this is what I'm going to use today. So they work very, very, very well. And then our next choice, I can't show it to you yet. It's a secret. So you have to find out about a later date on that. But it's going to be great. Okay, so that is our choices of, like I said, you know what I'm going to do? One of these jars I'm going to use chips, and one jar I'm going to use 3 blocks. Yeah, I got it here somewhere. Oh, here. One I'm going to use chips, and the other one I'm going to use blocks. All right, let me get ready to do that. Okay. And the nice thing about chips, blocks, or cubes, if you wanted to mix the wood, with a Hungarian and some American white oak, you got the choice to do that, because it is your choice, and it would be fantastic. All right, so what I'm going to do is, this is 3 ounces. I want the heavy side. That's what I want. So that's 3 ounces of chips. And I am going to use 3 blocks in that one. All right. Okay. We'll have to, one thing I will have to make sure I do, and like I always say, put that label on here with the date and the proof, because you won't remember. I just know myself, I won't remember. Well, that is soaking in. I see the bubbles coming out of the wood. All right. So we will come back later for a tasting. All right. And this just amazes me. Okay. We'll come back for a tasting. Hope you enjoy that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button down there. You don't know how much that means to us creators. It's what helps us keep bringing out more content for you. And hey, don't cost you a nickel, right? Okay, I know a lot of you have. Anyway, I guess the last thing I have to say is, hey, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time here on Still Works in Brewing. Cheers, everybody.